Welcome to Death on Clare Island, Chapter 21A. Considering the events of the previous night, I awoke feeling rested and more resolved than ever. There was a connection between Matthew and Sharon's murders, and I was going to find it. I'd slept the sleep of the dead, deep, dark, and dreamless. Maybe the I will survive mantra worked. Light streamed through the windows and from the fixtures I'd left on the night before. I walked into the kitchen. The message light on my answering machine was blinking. I pressed the play button. Star, Peter's voice rumbled out at me. I'm thinking about you, and it seems like it will be an eternity before I see you on Tuesday. Call me so that I can hear your voice and know you are well. I called back immediately, but his message machine picked up. While I listened to the recorded voice, I wondered what we'd all do without answering machines and cell phones. Now, we can reach out to anyone at any time, yet we never seem to connect. Instead, we leave a trail of messages behind us, hoping and believing that someone is listening. I'd left a message for Sharon. Had she gotten it? Was she planning on calling me, as Lorcan's comments about her being able to trust me indicated? Or had someone else stood in her house listening to my voice? Someone who couldn't afford to let me see Sharon that evening. I hung up on Peter's machine without leaving a message. 40 minutes later, after I power walked faster than ever before, I sat at the kitchen table reviewing everything. O'Malley implied that he wanted to help clear Matthew's name, but not if it cost him the Abbey Restoration Project's funding grant. Was this enough motivation to want to kill? I hadn't found any connection between O'Malley and Sharon, other than his knowledge that she visited the island and his affirmation that Matthew loved Sharon. Although O'Malley was aware of the rumors surrounding Alan Skye, neither man had indicated that they knew the other. But O'Malley's comment about the islanders' knowledge of Skye and being able to deal with him smacked of vigilantism. There was motive there to rid the project and the island of Matthew if he'd gotten involved with Skye. I didn't think Alan Skye murdered Matthew. He was another brand of monster, an insidious, parasitical killer claiming souls through his drug trade. He was sneaky and wouldn't overtly eliminate his competition or threats. I sensed that he'd gotten perverse pleasure from Matthew coming to him for help. Skye would want to hold that card over Matthew or use him to get at his own competition. All paths led me to Raymond Nolan. He worked with Sumner. He knew Alan Skye. His foundation linked him to the people with drug dependency. Because of his prior medical training and his work, he could probably gain access to drugs or to others who had access. His sister died of an overdose. He was in Dublin when I had my mysterious accident. He knew Sharon Dawson. So what had he been doing yesterday when Sharon was killed? For someone who devoted his life to fighting drugs, why couldn't he be more cooperative? I was sure he knew more than he told me. He had to have his own suspicions, unless, of course, he was responsible for both murders. Maybe Save the People was a front for the bigger operation that Alan Skye alluded to in our conversation. Maybe in some twisted and misguided way, Raymond used drug money to fund it. O'Malley was sure that the foundation had money troubles. I knew Raymond wouldn't like it, but I had to talk to him again. I called Aunt Georgina. Star, how are you? She asked immediately. I realized how worried she was when her voice didn't carry its customary snappy pace. She spoke slowly, emphasizing each word. I hated to think that I might be causing her such pain. She'd been wonderful to me, like a mother, since I'd met her. I'm fine. I'm sorry I didn't call last night, but I was exhausted when the police decamped here. Surprisingly, though, I slept well. So you see, there's nothing to worry about. But I do worry about you. Now tell me what's going on. Why don't you come to the shop? I have appointments that I can't cancel this morning, but I want to see you for myself. I may be able to stop by later in the day, but right now, I'm wondering if you know Raymond Nolan's home address. Perhaps by catching him away from the office and on the productive mounds of paper on his massive desk, I throw him off guard and get him to open up to me. Don't you think it's dangerous to go to his house? Georgina asked, after all that's happened. I have to see him. I can't let this go, especially because of what's happened. Look, I'm going there in broad daylight, and you know where he lives. If you don't hear from me by this afternoon, then you should call the police. For a moment, the only sound between us was that of dead silence. Then she said, Raymond lives in one of the new houses in Spencer Park. You can't miss them. There are only about 6 of them, brick, 2-story homes. I was there last month to discuss a fundraising event for the charity that's coming up this fall. You'll see his house as soon as you turn onto Spencer Court. It's the first one on the right, and he's installed Save People posters on his front garden wall. Thanks. I'll talk to you later. Star, wait, did Lorcan call you last night? He called, all right. He showed up here. Did you put him up to that visit? I thought you might need some help. Did he do that? Absolutely. Charming, like a prince. He'll probably tell you all about it when you see him. But I really have to go. Call you later. I hung up and prepared for my trip to town. Lorcan and his promise to accompany me to the Garda station came to mind. I'd have to get out of here soon, in case he arrived to make good on his part of the deal he'd made with O'Shea. I wanted to talk to Raymond before making any visits to the police, and I certainly didn't need Lorcan McHale to look out or make appointments for me. I wrote a note saying that I'd gone into town and would be back soon. Then I stuck it on the kitchen door. I smiled to myself as I relished Lorcan's dilemma when he got here and I was gone. I drove straight through to the center of town and went to the car park. I didn't love the expense, but this was in one of those times that I wanted to wander up and down Main Street looking for a spot. I didn't want to draw attention to myself either. I wanted to surprise Raymond Nolan and get out of town before the police spotted me. I didn't notice anyone following me on the drive in. I assumed they would leave me alone until they figured out that I was a no-show for the little tea party they and Lorcan had planned. After locking the car and walking toward Main Street, I cut over to Castle Street, then Station Road to the Spencer Park development. It would take me 20 minutes on foot, but I'd be less conspicuous. As I reached Main Street, the headlines on the newspaper stands, outside Wynn's and Fahey's shops drew my eyes as if they were magnets. Drug death challenges stereotypes, screamed the Connaught Telegraph, and well-mannered financial investment advisor had all the trappings of success, said the Mayo News. Each featured headshots of Sharon, probably from her work bio. I stopped to read the articles. Both stated that she died of an apparent synthetic cocaine overdose. So her death was relegated to misguided experimentation with drugs. The end of the article mentioned Matthew's death and conjectured that their relationship was based on a mutual substance abuse problem. Drugs kill people. That's the bottom line, one article ended with a quote from Detective O'Shea. Couldn't believe any of this. How could the police be so stupid? What about the fact that Sharon had been strangled? How could they explain this situation away? How many more innocent victims had to die before the public protectors dropped their blinders and saw this for what it was. Walking faster now, I went across Main Street to Spencer Park. Time was running out, and I had to find some answers.